rod of discipline will drive it away from him. So here we see the importance of applying the rod of discipline. And I just want to share for parents, don't use your hand in spanking your child. Because based on the verse that I just quoted, it says the rod of discipline. It didn't say the hand or your hand. So don't we ever use our hand, because our hands are always associated with love. You know, we use the hand to express love, warmth, to embrace our children. So never use your hand in spanking your child. Use a rod, a paddle, a stick. In our case, when they were still small, we used that stick, balloon stick. Have you tried using that?
Yeah.
But I had a funny story with DJ. Kamkalo, is it DJ, no? Because everywhere we go, okay, we would always bring that stick, that balloon stick.
Before you start, the reason why we would bring the stick is because in our minds, discipline has to be immediate.
Yes.
It cannot be. That's why wherever we are, we have to spank them, but not in public. So let's just say you're in a mall and they do something wrong. We bring them inside the toilet, in a cubicle, not in the presence of many people.
So going back to TJ's experience, what he did with that stick, the balloon stick, he putol jud ang stick. So how would you use that as a rod? If ana ng kagamay, no, you cannot use that para. So that was one of my funny moments with my
Smart
kids.
talaga, smart.
Smart jud. Napakasa, di ba?
Yeah, one time he put, he knew it was going to be spanked, so he put cardboard inside his pants. So the problem was he's not a good actor. He should have cried, because when my wife was spanking him, there was no reaction. So my wife, the sound was different.
He was not crying.
He was not crying. So my wife knew there was something wrong. So my wife knew there was cardboard. So you know what comes next.
And I remember also, how many of you would apply this kind of discipline? Face the wall or stand on a corner? How many of you? Can I see a raise of hands? Do you find it effective? Yes, for some.
I'm
Yes.
listening.
Okay, in my case, I want to share a funny experience with my second son, AJ.
When they're
Sorry,
small, they're
AJ.
sharing their experience.
Okay, one time I told him, okay, face the wall or stand on the corner. Because I want him to feel the gravity, no? Talagang mali yung he did a wrong thing, so kailangan yun yung form of punishment niya. But you know what happened? Si AJ, he always play this imagination game. No? So while facing the wall, he's imagining things and he's playing. So, sabi ko, hindi na-feel yung gravity ng punishment. So for me that's why I asked you if you find it effective. Maybe for some of your kids, but for me, I don't find it effective. No?
Yeah, depending on the children.
Depending on the children. That's why I asked Karina. If you find it effective, then do it. If not, stick to the rod.
Thank you very much. We have another question here. Relatively, but as grandparents, do we also have the authority of disciplining our own children? Well, especially if their parents are not available to discipline them or take care of them?
Only if they allow us. If our children and our in-laws, our daughters-in-law and our son-in-law would say you have the freedom to discipline our children, then we would. Otherwise, I think it's up to admonishing or maybe scolding, but not as far as spanking. So far, we've not spanked any of our grandchildren. I don't know if that will ever happen, but again, we will not intrude into the parental authority of our children, because ultimately it's their authority. But if they tell us you're free to spank our children if ever they do something wrong, then we will do that. We will do it. But if not, then we hands off. Hands off for us.
Thank you. Relative to that, Pastor Ben, Sister Marie, how would you advise to discipline, or is it still applicable to your children who have their own family as well? Because a while ago you mentioned that so long as these children, even if they're adults, so long as they're under your roof. But in this case, the question is, they have their own families. Do you still have
They have their own families, they're still living with you?
Not necessarily, but the question is, do you still have authority, or is it applicable still to provide the discipline?
No. So the moment your children leave home, and I'm talking about adults, and
it's a phone-in question, ladies and gentlemen.
nasa seminar ako. Okay. Mamaya na lang. Okay. Sorry. What is the question? If they're still, no. I have no authority anymore when it comes to my children. And so, for us, we consider them as adults. We would admonish them. We would speak to them. Maybe even rebuke them if necessary. But that is as far as we go. We cannot intrude, for example, when it comes to their family lives, their marriages, we do not interfere with that. We do not want to become outlaws to our in-laws. We want our in-laws to love us, and so we will not interfere if they have problems. We can advise them, but we will never decide for them. We will never intrude into their privacy.
Thank you. This is a specific question. As parents to a 1-year-old boy, what is your advice to balance between raising a toddler and being in a ministry? Like every night, ministry meeting in a local church.
Could you repeat the question again?
As parents to a 1-year-old boy, how would you balance between raising a toddler and being in a ministry? Open close parenthesis, like being in a meeting every night, ministry meeting every night.
Well, I think there's an imbalance. I mean, you cannot be in the ministry unless obviously you're a pastor's wife or a pastor. But otherwise, I don't think it would be a balanced kind of life if you're always in ministry every day. I don't think that's a balanced life.